Okay, everyone, welcome back to Weeaboo Hell with our special guest host, the dogs having a panic attack next door.
They seem to have calmed down for the moment, though.
Yeah, they really decided to bite my joke in the throat there. Those dogs aren't fans of internet comedy, it seems.
Well, you have a view on the screen. You could have seen that we were not recording.
Could I have Sam?
Yeah.
Or is this just another expression
No.
of white privilege creeping its way into our That's
No.
how you can tell I'm losing a conversation with Sam, by the way. That's just the last pistol I've hidden under my fucking bandolier.
Oh, sort of like when Sam was like, if I don't win, it's because of misogyny.
Yeah. It's a strategy 7. If that fails, I have to turn the gun upon myself.
I really don't think that you need to turn the gun upon yourself.
No, Sam, I do. You see, otherwise I have to admit that I'm wrong, and that's just not how the 21st century cookie crumbles.
Well, you're right there.
So
you get to be a little right this time.
Speaking of opinions in the opinion landscape, since we're talking about some Star Wars shit this episode, I'm just going to quickly dip into me playing a 2-year-old game today.
What 2-year-old game?
I'm playing a Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Evidently, there's no semicolon between Star Wars and Jedi, which is unfortunate because I really want to steal that Yahtzee joke where he makes like a sort of gurgling sound during every semicolon in the title.
I thought when you said 2-year-old game, not a game that was 2 years old, but a game for 2-year-olds, and I was intrigued.
Nah. I think that most 2-year-olds we get extremely fucking frustrated because this is a Soulsborne clone.
I like the idea of a 2-year-old being really fucking mad at Perry Windows specifically. This is bullshit!
Which forecasts my specific complaint with this game. You see, multiple difficulties, totally fine. One of the things they use to try to adjust the difficulties is they changed the size of the parry windows. So they're not like uniformly adjusted to something that makes fucking sense to humans. And the problem with this is there's only one truth. And I'm playing on fucking Jedi Master difficulty, where the parry window is just someone blowing into their thumb and a middle finger comes out. Because when shit starts and stops, it's pretty arbitrary and changing for any. I'm irked. I am what the children call booty bothered. I don't know. The point is, fine game otherwise.
Alright, that's good. I will play it at some point.
But today we had a vision of Star Wars visions.
I had some whole thoughts about today. So, I am one man, and I am a hobbyist at that, against a veritable ocean of ink when it comes to talking about Star Wars in any capacity besides, hey, did you see the new Star Wars? It's somewhat daunting having an opinion about it because, like, oh man, it's yet another dude's opinion about Star Wars. And I am so averse to the idea of being yet another dude, mostly because that is exactly what I am. And then, like, it goes further. Like, oh, man, a dude uncomfortable with how ordinary he is. Man, do I have a series for him. And then I think, fuck it, because, as one must do when writing about something as monolithic as Star Wars. The worst that happens...
saying one must fuck it?
No, one must say to themselves,
Just playing around.
yeah. having some fin fun. I think the worst that happens is that no one cares, which is fine because I spend most of my day not caring, and it'd be hypocritical of me to get all shitty about it now. None of this has even mattered up to now, though, because I've had no reason to talk about Star Wars on an anime podcast.
That's true.
There was that one like TIE Fighter short that someone made, and it looked like Zeta Gundam.
I never actually saw that.
Well, it's there's not a whole lot for two humanities guys to say about it other than, ooh, it looks like Zeta Gundam, because there's no dialogue or anything. It's just, some TIE Fighter pilots flying around shooting down X-Wings. That's it.
Well, as someone being excluded from TIE Fighter discourse, I'm just going to critically pan it now. It's clearly bullshit garbage that deserves to be burned. Trying to take money off my goddamn plate. Fuck you. Go on.
So we now have Star Wars Visions, though, and thus we've got something to talk about.
Yeah. And Star Wars Visions, for kind of a creative idea, or at least a nice platform for creativity, they simply approached... I thought it was 9 studios, but some got 2 hits, so I think it comes out to 6-ish.
One of them got 2 hits.
Okay. But the point is, they approached a few anime studios and directors and just said, here's a chance.
Make a Star War.
Make a Star War. Tell us your version of the adventures of John Star Wars. And we're going to talk about the results today.
Yeah. I don't see the point of ranking it, or ranking the 9 episodes. I don't think that's...
Well, I think
really.
when people rank stuff a lot, what they are really saying is, I hear the yawning of the chasm beyond death, and I need to fill that space with something, and they normally fill that with rankings.
Oh, I thought it was just click harvesting, but okay. Maybe that's it.
There's a chance. That might be involved.
I think...
That might be a demi-quaver.
You rank things with the idea that someone disagrees and thus engages. This is why everything outside of the Facebook Google duopoly has to do some dumb fuck horrible take in order to reach any sort of engagement.
Unrelatedly, green is the only legitimate color of lightsaber, and everything else is trash.
It is definitely my favorite color of lightsaber. It's like... Blue is always the whole, like, okay, so this is my first lightsaber color, and then, like, green is just, like, this is where the real shit begins, lightsaber.
I like the orange lightsabers from KOTOR and the like, because I like weird sex, and I'm just that far into the hole of everything.
They got the silver lightsabers in KOTOR, too.
Truly a gray Jedi type of evening. So yeah, they approach a few studios, and the results are definitely interesting, to say the least. And, let's just dip into our first option. So first there was The Duel, which is nope. I can't even fake the slightest one. This is some of my favorite shit I've seen in a while.
This is the best one. This is just the best one. Out of all 9 of them, this is the best one. They kind of like came at the gate swinging. It's so fucking good. This is Kamikaze Doga. They did all of the openings for JoJo in between part 1 and part 3.
Yeah, if you remember the ones that kind of had that almost like a cel-shaded game kind of look to them.
CG
They sort of specialize.
Like, yeah.
They sort of specialize in that
kind of like
hybrid
Mad World
look. Yeah, Mad World's a good comparison. Exact.
Yeah.
And they really knocked this one out of the park. It's a simple, stylish story with some chef's kiss moments to it.
Like it plays out like a Kurosawa film in 15 minutes or so.
Man, that's weird. Imagining Star Wars with a Jedi Geki influence.
If only George Lucas was watching Kurosawa's films and implemented elements of those films into Star Wars. I wonder what that movie might have looked like.
Truly, the kind of insanity you could only get with the anime Star Wars crossover.
So the premise of this one is pretty simple. Wanderer who isn't Toshiro Mifune, but yeah, it's Toshiro Mifune.
This is Foshiro Tafune.
Foshiro Tafune, yeah. Comes into town, unnamed, doesn't need one. And, town is being beset upon by bandits who are stormtroopers. Town has hired sort of, a couple, maybe not 7 samurai, but, like 4 or 5 of them. Mm-hmm. They all have interesting character designs. One of them is a droid with a minigun and pretty sick.
I'm a fan of just the general look of all of these characters. Our main, I guess you're still summarizing.
Well, then, it's very simple. Then there's Sith Lady. She and Foshiro Mifune fight. It's cool.
By the way, something of a almost recurring note amidst these shorts. It's not an order from on high. I think it's just everyone noticing something at once. They all just seem to look at the general film mythos and go, oh, hey, there's no Sith Lady high on the card. Maybe we can fill that void up.
Yes, whenever it's not the films, yeah.
And that's something that's just been going across these shorts, with the exception of later on there's an old man who's a lot of fun. But yeah, zooming back in on this one, everything just feels right. The only real colors are black, gray, and red.
Yes, and you end up with this great shot at the end that I do not want to spoil, but it was my favorite single moment of Visions.
Yeah, and a lot of these are stealth pilots. And by a lot of these, I mean 6 out of 9 of these are stealth pilots.
This one didn't feel like one.
And I'm getting there.
Yeah.
This one didn't feel like one, but it is the one that would have me kicking open a wooden door, dressed like Philip J. Fry, holding a wad full of bills, telling someone to shut up and take my money.
Please. I will empty out my life savings to fund 5 minutes of animation.
I just want Kamikaze Doga to know that they have my vote, my loyalty, and if necessary, my violence. To get their series going.
Yeah, no, this kicked ass. There's not a whole lot else to say about it.
It really pares things down to the lightsaber duel in a, well, obviously called the duel, but in a way that is just perfectly meted out to a Sword of the Stranger fanboy like myself.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's kind of interesting to think about the sort of range of approaches to lightsaber fights that we've seen in the franchise up to this point, from the sort of wire excess of episode 2 to just the fucking single stroke thing that happened in late Rebels.
That was fucking awesome.
It was fucking awesome. And I would call this perhaps a synthesis between certain elements of the approaches. Like, it can have that very quiet single stroke kind of moment, and also a lot of the force high jumps and flinning that also have their own kind of appeal. I'm not against that stuff at all, because I actually, even unlike you, I appreciate the sort of wuxia half of the choreography gene tree in action films. But the point is, this captures multiple wavelengths.
Sure, yeah.
We'll head into the second one.
Yeah, that one's what? Tatooine Rhapsody.
Good memory, sir. Yeah,
I
Tatooine
cannot remember.
Rhapsody.
Well, tell me the studio who did that.
Studio Colorido.
Oh god, what the hell else did they do?
I'm going to use the power of Wikipedia. You're going to enjoy the fact that their studio icon involves a duck.
I do like ducks. More
does
so
like
than
ducks.
Most things.
Let's see. They've done 7 movies and a bunch of original animations, including for your purposes, Pokemon Twilight Wings, Poketoon,
Okay, that was the big
Budding
one,
Dream, Poketoon, Wait Here, Magikarp. Oh, they did Burn the Witch as well, for those of you who are a fan of our Kubo posting.
And I'm a fan of our Kubo posting.
Oh, believe me, I am always ready for more.
Alright, so Twilight Wings was the big thing that they were known for before this.
Cool.
For the most part. Yeah, this one was probably my least favorite, actually. Like, it was fine, certainly.
Oh yeah, I would definitely call this one, I guess, merely entertaining, perhaps not hitting the... It's a rough league to be in, because a lot of these things are either artsy or just by someone who on a script level thing just gets Star Wars at the root, or just a bunch of cocaine.
Yeah, this was just kind of a lighthearted, kind of fun, silly thing that's got a very cutesy sort of art style to it.
Interestingly, I think this is one of the only ones that sort of borrowed more than one like established Star Wars figures. Like, a lot of these were just building their own casts. And
yeah, this one just takes place at some point before Episode 4, not very long before it does not seem.
And it's funny, despite doing the sort of rock band and Star Wars thing, which is, I guess, very different for the types of stories we tell in Star Wars. Beyond that, it almost feels like it doesn't take as many risks, because you have like Boba Fett running around there. You have your the Hutt clans come in. Jabba's
that was there. It was like, yeah, it's extremely, extremely fucking simple. Just like, here is Rock Band on Tatooine.
Yeah.
They would like to play show, but one of their members is a Hutt who just wants to play the drums, but Jabba wants him dead for whatever reason.
And there's a nice, and I guess that's just the core symbol of a character arc, is that there's a Padawan survivor who is now in this band. and it does not go in the relearn to shot web direction, but rather
No, he just wants to fucking rock, you know?
he just wants to rock. And if you look at the philosophy of Kreia, the real reason that the Jedi Order falls apart is that they do not allow their scions to rock. I see you've transitioned into producing lo-fi hip-hop beats. Tell me, apprentice, do you follow every trend that comes along? Or do you believe in the soundscape? Just something for you to reflect upon. Sorry, I'm just imagining just in the like-dislike kind of comments that are in every sort of social media stream, just Kreia disliked that appearing in different formats now. She might be a frequent user of either the angry or laugh react, so to speak.
I feel as though her social media presence would be, she kind of posts like a boomer.
I can tell you something about Kreia's social media presence.
She would use ellipses wrong.
She either has 2 or 2 million followers. Like, it's either just someone screaming into the darkness or a social problem. All right, I'm gonna take it back to these shorts.
I think it'd be 2. I think she would have 2 followers.
Fair.
It would be like one of the most underrated Twitter accounts on the website.
Yeah. So then we have the twins, which I'm gonna pretend to look it up. It's Trigger.
It's fucking if you like, they tell you at the beginning of it. I don't think they should have. I think they should have made you guess. And like, I think like the game would have been like, how long does it take for you to figure out that this is Trigger? And if it's over 30 seconds, then you have not seen anything by Trigger before, I suppose.
And yeah, the house style is intense with this one. If you took someone who either watched 0 anime or watched an incredible amount of anime and asked them what Star Wars would look like in anime, you would get something about 15 degrees off from this.
I think it would look very much like the twins. This is a short that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner eats Sour Patch Kids.
Yes, its teeth are red, green, and yellow. Just coated in kids, like a soft protective film around their chompers. I don't know why I'm describing the narrative as if...
like it is a literal bowl of sugar of a short.
But I'm just going to do it because I suppose you want to know. It's called The Twins. It's about 2 twins.
They have a fucking lightsaber duel in space. Don't worry about how they're breathing. Just don't. Don't worry about it.
It says they are both born within the dark side, and one immediately becomes the light side twins because it's Star Wars and there are 2 of them. I don't know. What did you think that this would be about?
Well, there is a recurring theme throughout all of these shorts, which is that when there's dark, light will rise to meet it. And so, you know, in the absence of light, one of the twins is like, well, I guess it's up to me. All right.
Guess I'm carrying the torch of the brand here.
But I do
right,
like
jokes
that
aside,
theme. Just like evil will never go unanswered, right?
Oh yeah, they definitely stuck to a lot of the root of what makes Star Wars work in
Like,
these.
so fun, yeah, and so compelling.
Yeah.
And the twins is no exception.
Like in great Star Wars film like The Empire Strikes Back or The Last Jedi. Yes, The Last Jedi. We are not giving up. Fuck you, people.
Fight me.
Fight me anywhere. But yes, the light rises. In the twins, it rises in a very stylish place. And because I guess Trigger also did Kisniver and shit and all that, we should say when we say the house style, we do mean that very brand new animal, Gurren Lagann, Little Witch Academia. Just, you know, they're...
Kill la Kill.
Kill la Kill. You know, just their...
It reminded me most of Kill la Kill and Brand New Animal specifically.
And I'm just going to double check. Yep, it is specifically the director of Kill la Kill and Company.
Yeah, there we go.
And, he's also making a anime based on Cyberpunk? Yeah. All right. Good luck with that.
Like Cyberpunk 2077. That.
Oh yeah, that and the table.
That
table. Yeah, that tabletop game that was big. We should try it sometime. Actually, people seem to love that shit. But yeah, Hiroyuki Imaishi. So Gunyu Hiroyuki makes some of our favorite shit, and It escalates quickly. I could just say it keeps escalating.
Yeah, there's a lot of screaming. There's a lot of things getting, like, even more wild than they were 10 seconds ago.
You would not believe how quickly dialogue in the vein of, you can't control it, stop, it'll consume you, and basically just the response of, shut up, weakling.
If you watch the dub, the evil twin is voiced by Alison Brie, who has not forgotten, her delivery, how she did promos in Glow. It basically sounds like her Glow character without the Russian accent.
It's so good.
It's so fucking great.
Like, I don't know whether you're a dubs or subs guy, I recommend just throwing on the English for this one. Because
she has so much goddamn fun.
It's a time. Someone evidently whispered to Imaishi, just make the Sith a blonde Satsuki, you'll sell gangbusters. And that's working for it.
There are one or two just fucking moments from this that I feel like I'd be doing you a disservice if I told them to you about it.
Yeah, I feel like this is one that if I go through it beat for beat, I might almost be deflating it. So I'm just going to say that it's a good time.
Like, I could tell you, like, the money shot of this thing, but you should probably just see it, because it rules.
Yeah, I think money shots are better when they're a surprise. Except for whoever it lands on. Sketch/short film number 4 is called The Village Bride. And this one comes from a director, Hitoshi Haga, and a studio, Kinema Citrus.
Yeah, they did Rising of the Shield here.
Along with Dot Hack Quantum, if your memory goes back that far.
It does not. Mine does not.
Fair enough. So, this one, like anything that would have followed the previous one, is a little slower paced.
It's a little bit more heavy on atmosphere.
A little bit more heavy on atmosphere, a little bit more heavy on that sort of Star Wars thing of landing on planet X.
You're on planet X. It's kind of weird here. Things are kind of different.
Let's see if we can piece together what's going on. I highly recommend this to people whose favorite part of Mass Effect was landing on random planets.
I did love landing on random planets.
It did speak to me.
But ultimately, it was just because of the limitations they were working with. It was just one planet and then a different texture slapped over it, several dozen times. But it was fun.
It was fun. This is the limits of technology. I think that what I will always sort of respect about Andromeda's weird development cycle was that they tried to sort of focus on that feeling.
Yeah, Andromeda and the way things went with Andromeda is just
human fucking tragedy.
No, it's just one fucking, bit in the works cited page of many in my gigantic fucking senior thesis or graduate thesis on why fandom is the worst fucking thing and should not exist.
Well, I think it may also be a case of one thing being worse than fucking fandom, which is fucking development crunch. It just doesn't fucking work. Just take another year.
Yes, but I'm going to argue that fandom made that worse.
Very possible. So, but back in on the Village Bride itself, and not why EA and Activision should be flogged. Like a lot of these, it's sort of focused on someone just making their way after the whole Purge 66 type events.
I believe that it takes place during that, yes.
So yeah, they touch down on sort of idiosyncratic quasi, I guess pre-feudal planet.
Yeah. One thing that this one has, and I like this one a whole lot. I think
it's one of it's
I think it's one of the strongest ones. It has this sort of sense to it that I do feel was very present in the original trilogy that I feel often got lost as the franchise progressed, which is just sort of we were talking about just the sort of sense of wonder.
Yeah.
And just sort of here's this weird fucking new world that people are on, and they kind of take a second to let it breathe and such.
They let things breathe. It definitely comes with that feeling that the world is even bigger than all this that's happening here.
Yeah.
And here's someone who's been sort of out of step of it being sort of yanked back into it.
Yeah.
Man, Star Wars really loves its reluctant bystanders into actors kind of
Yes,
loops.
Well, it's because, again, it's in fitting with that theme I was talking about. It's just like, well, here's evil. Or here's the darkness. You want to be the light, and often the choice is sort of made for you, or you just like feel, okay, yeah, fine. I guess that's me.
It's kind of like the sort of softer nature of our rendition of the lone gunman / samurai in this one.
Yeah.
Star Wars has done this enough times I almost want to just put /Jedi in that progression. Which I guess just sort of shows the mark that this franchise has on our collective psyche.
Mm-hmm.
I will never be free. I will never be free. If anyone at the mouse or the remains of LucasArts wants someone to write a one-off in their Marvel Star Wars comics, I know a guy. I know a great guy. He has a book coming out, everything abridged. But yeah, this one is a fun, Village Bride, fun mood piece.
Really, really, really fantastically done. It had fantastic music too. Had great music.
Very much so.
I think it and the piece immediately following it, if I am correct, had the best music. What's the piece immediately following it?
So it depends if you have the bongo drum fetish that I do, but the piece immediately after this one is The Ninth Jedi.
Yes, yeah. I fucking love the music for The Ninth Jedi. Also, The Ninth Jedi was my favorite behind the duel. I fucking adored this thing from start to finish. The Ninth
Jedi was wonderful. I would say this one has some of the strongest plotting.
It felt like something from the KOTOR games. Here's this weird era of Star Wars that you're not familiar with, right? You just kind of dropped into that shit right there. You're sort of just along for the ride as you see, Star Wars stuff happen in a completely unfamiliar context.
And I think that little structural trick is a good way to just sort of preserve that default feeling of scale and wonder, which we were, just talking about in The Village Bride. This has the edge of sort of being in even an unfamiliar point in the chronology, like, oh, why aren't there that many Jedi or Sith kicking around right now? Where are we taking this? And it has that sort of KOTOR / Clone Wars things where there's some things for sort of screenplay type heads to bite into this one.
Oh yes.
It has a fun structural momentary twist that I just realized.
Oh, I didn't see it coming at all.
Mentioned it would just sort of eat the short for some people, but
yeah.
Suffice to say, it'll at least tickle that part of your brain.
It does, it has some fun surprises that are not telegraphed in such a way where, they feel obvious or okay.
Yeah.
So that I liked about it. I love chase scenes in general, and this one had a really fun one.
This one had just some really well-rendered combat.
Well-rendered combat. I also like the idea of I think the new canon for lightsabers and lightsaber crystals in particular is that they are affected by the personality and energy of their users. In the original canon,
so is that general new canon, or is that just thing in this sketch? The way they pitch it could have been an idea for this one. But I
think it is more or less universal to the new canon. In the original, lightsaber crystals were just the sort of color they were, and red ones were specifically synthesized crystals.
Beep boop.
Yeah. And then in the new canon, red crystals are red because the user's sort of dark energy makes them bleed. And, blood is red. There you go.
Whoa.
Which I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I sort of I'm not going to say anymore.
You don't want to enter a tug of war with people on YouTube screaming the world's sodomized my childhood.
No, because if I say more, it's going to
mutate into a 3-hour special.
No, it's gonna reveal too much about what happens in this.
Oh, fair enough. Something that amused me. It's not a good or a bad thing, but this and probably the one that follows it are just two of the ones screaming most loudly. Man, wouldn't it be cool if you just got a whole show of this?
Yes, it was one of the most. It was so very clearly a pilot.
A pilot, fucking
Please.
Dan Harmon shouting 1,000 years X level pilot.
This is the one that out of all the ones that were clearly like a disguised pilot, this is the one that I would absolutely have the most interest in seeing be made into a thing.
Yes, this was definitely one of the favorite stealth pilots. Out of all of them, I'm going to give one a show. The duel would just sort of appear behind it, grunt, and it gets bisected. But maybe that's also because I'm a fucking Samurai Jack nerd, so
Yeah.
what the duel is up to would be my show. I was about to say, how cool would a Genndy Tartakovsky Star Wars be, as if I don't have 2 DVDs of content sitting on my fucking bookshelf. That's a worthy watch, by the way. If
you have not seen it before.
If you like
awesome.
animation or Star Wars enough to listen this long, then you probably should just watch it.
It's great shit. Watch it.
It's great shit. It's great shit. A bunch of stuff you see elsewhere in the canon sort of flowed out from that.
Mm-hmm.
The whole Night Sisters business.